Oh, yes. Welcome to Geek in the City Radio, issue 667. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Duran.
I'm one of your other hosts, Spinarita.
I'm wondering what the hell is going on, Cable Hashitani. What was that intro? What was
Uh,
that voice?
that was Tired Bane voice, is what I was attempting.
Tired Bane. Okay.
Tired Bane.
Okay,
A
sure.
little bit of the Harley Quinn, HBO Max Bane. No one loves Bane.
I started watching that during the 2-week period where I had COVID and couldn't leave the house. That is a solid show.
It's very solid. Yeah,
Um,
it's so much fun.
I really enjoy Kaylee Cuoco's take on Harley Quinn and Lake Bell's take on Poison Ivy.
Yeah, it's a very good show. And what's his name is the shark. Is it Ron Funches?
Mm-hmm. As King Shark.
King Shark, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I
that
don't
sounds
want to
like
go
it'd be
around
fun.
just eating people, but hey, I'm a shark. It's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, I'm a season behind, so I need to jump on it. And they just announced the Valentine's Day special with those two also.
Nice.
Yeah. So, nope, that was it. That was the Bane voice. How's everybody doing?
Good. Busy start to my week,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm here and not at my house.
It looks cool though.
Yeah, it's
Styling.
a very fun office.
Yeah, nice. I have spent most of my day in my office down here organizing and cleaning and trying to not get a case of the Tuesdays, which is what I get. I don't get the Mondays, I get the Tuesdays.
Mm.
Yeah, so. But got a lot of fun work done. Pitched a couple projects, trying to get back up on that horse. I'm really itching to just try to come up with a werewolf story. There's an editor who
prompted
wants to
that?
do a werewolf. Huh?
I was just wondering what prompted that.
Werewolf by Night.
Oh, well, that helped. No,
Also,
I was
Halloween.
And Halloween.
He loves werewolves.
But it started probably like a couple weeks ago. I've been going back and forth about another project, and the editor I'm working with keeps saying like, "But what does it mean? Who's the audience?" And this is something that's been approved a few times, but keeps going to a different editor, and then they have a different take. They think it's much darker than I intended. So I'm kind of going back and forth. But like 2 weeks ago, I thought like, does everything have to have a meaning beyond it's fun? I want to do something fun. I want people to enjoy 24 pages of stuff. And then I added, because sometimes I just want to write about werewolves doing werewolf shit. And another editor wrote me and she says, I want to hear your werewolves doing werewolf shit story. I'm like, oh crap, I guess I better think of a werewolf story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I've got right now is a log line that I keep playing, because I don't know if I want it to be like, I don't want it to be tropey werewolves, and there's a lot of that, like, oh, we're werewolves, we hate technology kind of thing, werewolf the apocalypse and the technocracy. A lot of white wolf shit.
Is werewolves hating technology a trope? I'm unfamiliar.
Ever since White Wolf made a role-playing game out of it, yeah.
Like I was like, I'd never heard of that.
Oh. Maybe you're not playing enough World of Darkness.
So yes, it's a trope, but it is a trope for a subset of role-playing gamers.
Yes. And then I thought, well, I've also been still on my Old West kick, like a lot. So I'm like, all right, I could do something with that. But then, because of last week and last weekend, I'm up to my neck in Lovecraft lore again. I'm like, all right, am I walking into a trope by doing the American West during the 1890s with werewolves being the last line of defense against Mesoamerican Lovecraftian horrors?
I don't know. Not until you write it. Is it something you've seen before?
No, not that I can recall. I've never seen it. And then I had a lot. Then I had a log line that popped in my head, and I actually sent this to the editor. I said, I'm still working on it, but I can't get this log line out of my head. And it's, when all our heroes are dead, only the monsters can save us. She's like, yeah, okay, go with that.
What is the definition of log line?
Well, log line is actually, that wasn't even a log line. That's more like a, you know.
That sounded more like an elevator pitch.
Yeah, that's a log. Yeah, a log line, I think, is a fancier version of that, which might be why I've never gotten many people to listen to my log lines, because even I don't completely know what they want. And honestly, they don't either, you know.
I feel like people who have the money that produce these things, what they want is the thing that sounds brand new and exciting, and yet completely and utterly familiar and comfortable simultaneously.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, that's where I've been. Trying to think of like fun werewolf shit to do.
Cool.
It'll probably end up being in the West. I just like that.
A were-western.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would go like, I'd probably go, I don't know. And again, this isn't help because I saw Werewolf by Night this afternoon, but I probably want to go the Lon Chaney Jr. route with like the face of a human, not the schnout.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Or I just have both, and they don't always get along. Cha cha cha.
I mean, there are different breeds of dogs, so why not?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Also, Bean, I might be able to let Jen 3D print you a Harkins bite tooth for your Ravenloft character.
Oh, that would be amazing, because I have not been able to find a suitable piece to use.
You'd have to paint it and stuff how you want. No, we were able to procure like an engineering level like resin printer from our neighbor who moved away, which is pretty friggin' cool.
That's very cool.
Cool. Yeah, it's very cool. I'm gonna see if I can 3D print a dice tower.
So what are we doing on the show tonight, kids?
Well, you've got a huge Lovecraft recap. We're having our buddy Claire on. They are going to talk about a project they just wrapped up, right?
Significant Other, which is currently on Paramount Plus, which we will mention up front. None of us have watched this yet.
It just came out this weekend, right?
Yep. Yeah. It just dropped last weekend. And we were indisposed for multiple reasons. You had your own away missions, and then we had the group mission of HP Lovecraft Film Fest. But Significant Other is on my list to watch. Claire is going to talk about what they did on the show or on the movie. But they also don't want to give away too many spoilers until it's been out for a few weeks. So this will be a spoiler-free kind of tease about the show.
Excellent.
But yeah,
excited.
Well, hello.
Hi, I'm still here.
My ears went weird.
Are they still attached to your head?
I don't hear anything in the background anymore.
That's
like
weird.
my back. Oh, I mean, if we're fine.
Can you? I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. I can hear you, Cable. Denise, I thought I just heard you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't said that much since that's started. But we're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. And I'm not making that face, so it's not that.
I was just about to say, like, how are you feeling?
Fine. Yeah, great.
Okay.
No, I know all those warning signs really fucking well. And haven't had one since that night. Every once in a while when I lay down wrong, my arm will go to sleep and I'll be like, oh shit. And then I'll move and it gets tingly and I'm like, oh, that's just my arm went to sleep. It's fine.
Good.
It was almost like my ears popped. That was the sound.
Just so that you know, I can still hear your audio. Your video has frozen.
Mine?
Yeah.
Not to me.
Not to you? Good.
Yeah. Nope.
Then it's just me.
Let's try this. We're back.
Yeah.
Or I'm back. Now you see me move?
Yep.
Super sweet. So yeah, this is all true.
Maybe one day all of these apps won't have as many bugs.
Or
That
one
day
day
is
I'll
not
just
today.
Yeah, or I'll just foot the bill and pay for like the really high-end integration programs. But the show doesn't pull enough money in for me to justify that.
When it does, then we can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. There's other things we want to do and stuff like that. Yeah. So
I think I have the bulk of Lovecraft to talk about, but I would like to hear from both of you about what some of your highlights were.
Bean, go ahead.
I was gonna suggest that Cable, you can start, but then like we can jump in when there's a part that we also were able to experience with you.
Okay. Well, we were all there Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that we did together was sit in the theater for Short Blocks 1. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you ran off for Short Blocks 2, and I watched Something in the Dirt, which was one of the longer features.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've also spent a little bit of yesterday and a little bit of today watching all of the short blocks that I didn't get to see through the streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
I had more than one person come up and tell me this, and it was like, oh, this person really liked these shorts, but like Sunday when people are still saying the same thing, and that was, these are the best shorts I have ever seen. And having now gone through all of the short blocks, these are the best shorts the HP Lovecraft Film Fest have ever shown.
Wow, that's a
cool.
bold statement.
Yeah, I need to revisit them because I remember thinking through 1 and 2, mainly 1. I was like, okay, but that also may not just be my style.
There are several of them that I didn't click with, like not my thing, but to immediately go, oh, I didn't like is very different than that was not well made. Every single one of these were like I feel like it's still above. Usually there are some real stinkers.
Yes.
Most of them are mediocre, and then there are like, or not mediocre, but average. They're the average. It's like, yeah, that was fine. It was fine. Right. We get a couple in there that's like, dude, that was
Right, the couple that like really stick with you.
Yeah, like the one last year that like sent someone out of the room.
I was going to ask if there was any voiding at the festival this year.
Not that I saw, but I did stick to a lot of the features, which I don't normally do. But I did a lot of features this year. Cool. That said, these all seemed to be a notch above average at the low end.
Oh, nice.
Like they are solid. They were scary. They were either terrifying, hilarious, or artistically beautiful. Okay. And those were the camps that they were in. Like even the ones that I'm like, yeah, I didn't connect with that one emotionally, but man, it was incredibly well shot. It was very concise. It did exactly what its thesis set out to do. And like I've been trying to wrap my brain around, is it just that they had more time? Like everyone has had more time or have decided to refocus. It's like, if I'm going to do film, fuck it, I'm going to do film. Pandemic has shut everything else down. I'm just going to spend time really figuring out film.
Right. That makes sense.
So it was, I was thoroughly impressed with what I watched. I'm trying to pull up the film so I can see.
Are the shorts still screening online on their site for a few more days?
Until the end of today.
Oh, well, we know people.
We do know people.
I am curious. I don't know if Bean, did you make it on Sunday? I didn't make. I made it only Friday. It's the least amount of time I've gone to Lovecraft, and I'm really bummed about that.
I did. I was there all day Sunday. I got to watch Reanimator.
What'd you think?
It's a fun movie.
It's super fun.
We watched the extended cut specifically.
Like overall, it holds up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
There are obviously some scenes that are questionable, but I'm led to understand that that's part of why it's such a cult favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything I've ever seen Jeffrey Combs do, his performance like really like sets it apart from like it. I think that like objectively with different performances, that film could be like considered just like just like a silly B horror film.
Oh sure.
With like an okay budget, nothing huge, but also not like super hokey either. I did really enjoy it, and I also really enjoy like knowing that it was kind of intentionally meant to be like almost a love story between these two other characters, and then I don't know. I guess that means that Herbert West was supposed to be the bad guy, but that's not the story that you get.
Herbert West was always supposed to be an agent of chaos for that movie.
Yeah, with the weird detachment of science. He doesn't, his morality doesn't work its way in, especially if you listen to the story as written, read by Jeffrey Combs, then you really get it.
Which
and
I
it
did.
It spans like 20 years too.
Yeah, because I was on a road trip, I listened to it in the car while I was by myself, and that actually probably really helped with my appreciation of the film, because I could see where they pulled some elements from the story, the written story, and tried to really incorporate them into a contemporary retelling.
Nice,
which I always appreciate.
Yeah, and Reanimator actually really does walk that fine line, because you mentioned it could have been campy. Lovecraft movies, especially features, are hard to pull off. You either have to go totally psychological and all of the things man isn't meant to know or exist in the shadows, or you just have the budget and say, screw it, we're going full Pacific Rim, like we're going to show you the monsters. Reanimator is one of those weird movies that somehow pulls off the middle. And I think maybe it's the era it came out lended itself to rubber makeup and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still
such a great.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's still one of my favorite openings from any movies, when his professor is dying. Was it in Germany? She's like, "You killed him."
Yep.
And he looks up. No, I didn't. He was already dead. And then
he was already dead.
Yeah. Then you get that complete Psycho film score ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You
I was explaining that to Denise when we were watching it. I'm like, she made comment about the soundtrack, and I'm like, the composer has admitted to they ripped off Psycho. It's this theme to Psycho in a different key.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I had said that it was giving me some like Danny Elfman vibes.
Ooh, I believe our guest has arrived also. Should we chat a few minutes or bring them on?
Bring them on.
All right. Joining us now, friend of the pod, it's Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
It's so long.
It has been a while, for sure. How have you been?
Good.
Living in the movie world. Living in the movie. Sorry.
It's been a weird year this year. Last year was really great, and this year has just been super quiet. But, that's the life.
Yeah. Everyone I've talked to have said that 2022, everyone was like, maybe this will be the year we'll all get a little break. And that was not the fucking case.
define a break, because I've worked like not very much this year.
Less death, more money coming in, projects actually happening.
Oh, yeah, no.
No.
That did not happen.
Not time off break.
No.
Right.
Claire, are you drinking an oldie?
I am not. I'm drinking Liquid Death because I'm a square and don't drink alcohol.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so. I was like, wow.
What variety is the gold can?
This is not an endorsement. This is the mango.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious.
They make flavors?
Like LaCroix, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And caffeinated.
The lime and the mango are my favorite. Go on.
I think they make a caffeinated one now also.
I will have to investigate.
Yes. Claire, what have you been working on? We're talking about horror films.
Oh, well, let me see. I was working on a feature that I quit, so I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay. Can't put them on blast or anything?
I will not do that because I do like my job.
Right.
I like having a career, and as horrible as an experience as it was, I don't think that's in my best interest.
That's fair.
Smart.
Let's see. What have I done this year? I'm about to start a new feature. My genre lately seems to be like sci-fi thriller more than it is horror. So I haven't really done a horror movie in a while, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, that's what it is. Like it's been gig work here and there. I've done some commercials, done some photo shoots, worked on Sex Lives of College Girls, and you would not believe the number of people that asked us if that was a reality show. It is not.
Right. It was not.
Definitely not. Yeah, that's it. Just kind of living, surviving.
Yeah, but that's great. Yeah, so we've all admitted none of us have been able to see the feature you worked on recently, the one that's on Paramount Plus. Because it just dropped, right?
Yeah, it just came out on the 7th. It's Significant Other on Paramount Plus.
Can you give us the log line, the elevator pitch on it?
To be fair, we were also at a film fest all weekend. So
yes.
Fine, whatever. I don't know how to describe it because there's like. So I guess that the plot line is basically like this couple is hiking in the Pacific wilderness, and some things happen, and people are not as they seem, and there's like a bunch of plot twists that I can't give anything away on, or it'll ruin the movie. But it's a really fun movie. Like I went on to department head makeup on it, and usually that just means you're handling like the basic beauty makeup on people, but KNB Effects Studio was doing a bunch of the effects for it, and they had a lot more on their plate than they were expecting. So some of the builds got tossed to me. So I got to actually make some stuff for it too, as well as just doing regular makeup.
Nice. Who's still left at KNB? Like the founders? Is it?
I want to say Howard Berger, and I want to say Nicotero is too. I think Kurtzman's the only one that kind of went off on his own, but don't quote me on him.
I think he went to like The Walking Dead and stuff like that, right? Mainly.
That was Nicotero.
Okay. For those who don't know, like if KNB is like basically they started with Sam Raimi on Evil Dead. So if you're like me and you're a Sam Raimi junkie, kind of by default, you're also a KNB junkie. Like you tend to follow their work and stuff like that. So.
Well, and this was a small enough feature that they themselves, the guys themselves, didn't come down from above to supervise anything. It was definitely delegated out. But the people that they delegated it to were rad. Kerry Jones was their effects supervisor. He actually plays. Oh, I'm going to lose some nerd points, but it's the new Wookiee on Star Wars. He's the guy that's actually in the suit for that.
Oh, you won't lose
Black Chrysanthemum?
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Oh, he's Black Chrysanthemum. He's not the Swedish dude who's actually in Chewbacca's suit.
No, the guy that plays Black
Kerry Jones plays him.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's also like an effects supervisor at KNB, which I think is really cool. So I interacted with him a whole bunch, and then they sent out 2 artists to oversee everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a type of like makeup FX that you found that you prefer now, or do you kind of miss doing prosthetics and monsters?
It just depends on what I'm doing more of at the moment. Like that's just, like my canned answer to it. Like if I'm doing more of one sort of specific thing, that I want to be doing something completely different, and then I'll go do that completely different thing. I'm like, it'd be nice. Let's make some pretty stuff. So it's just like a never-ending grass is greener for me.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Bean, did you have
Variety is nice.
Variety, yeah. Tell me you have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to say, I'm like, it seems like you need a gig where it's always going to be something different. Today we're doing horror. Later this week we're going to do a rom-com. Everyone's going to be glamorous. Like,
right.
Yeah, just different.
Well, and I think that's why I've lasted as long as I have in the film industry. I've been doing this for 15 years, and it's because the next job is always going to be different from the one before, so I'm always changing it up.
Yeah. How's the industry doing here in the Northwest? Is it picking up, or is it still kind of chugging along?
You know, if you'd asked me like that question last year, I would have said we're picking up steam. And then this year, it's just like the bottom dropped out when nobody's really entirely sure why. Yeah. I've heard a huge range of different reasons, and none of them, like, it's kind of like, yeah, I guess, but it doesn't like really fully answer it. So I'm actually on the executive board for our local union, our local home workers union here. And that's something we're actually trying to get to the bottom of because we want our people to work.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that union's been through. Because was it last year was the big contract where like they almost all went on strike?
Yep. Actually, we were in the middle of filming Significant Other during those contract negotiations, and it looked like we might be striking while we were working. That was really an interesting situation to be in.
Wow.
But yeah, last year was the contract negotiations, and then well, this year there's more contract negotiations because all of our contracts are up every couple of years and we have to renegotiate them. But it's a different contract than it was last year. Not nearly as contentious.
Someday comic book writers will be allowed to join the Writers Guild. But I doubt it.
It needs to happen. I'm fully in favor of unionizing everybody.
Yeah, we're not allowed. Yeah, contract freelance comic book writers, basically anyone who does Marvel, DC, and isn't creator owned. We can't join WGA. We can't join WGA East. We can't join the animation writers. We can't join any of them. We're not allowed to form our own. I think at best we can form a guild.
I'm sorry, you're not allowed to. No, you're not allowed to form your own.
We are not. It's a labor practice. Someone can correct me on this. Our listener Thomas Gill is very well versed in such things. But I do believe it goes back. I do believe it goes back to Reagan. Not allowing independent writers.
I mean, most shitty things can be traced back to Reagan, so that's not really that shocking.
I know writers try to join the animation writers, and they're like, nope, we're not taking you.
Weird.
So, yeah.
That's really weird because most of the unions are like, oh, yeah, we want to snap up whatever this unrepresented industry is for representation. Like right now, the whole conversation is revolving around stop motion and unionizing stop motion because traditional animation houses are getting unionized under TAG. It's the Animation Guild. But stop motion just keeps kind of being left out in the cold. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really surprising to me that anybody would be like, no, we're not going to organize this group of people that gets taken advantage of regularly.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
Sorry, we're going to talk about nerdy things and not labor law.
No, that's, I mean,
but these are important things about art.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
okay, fine.
Like one of the things that Aaron knows that I learned from running a gallery and running shows and working with comic book people for years is that they are very good at their craft. If you go, you should get together and organize and do this thing, they have no idea how to do any of that. And they require administrators and facilitators who do understand that and can take that up for them. It's like, no, you need someone who just does that minutia so that you can continue doing art and be represented at the same time.
It's kind of a catch-22 because the ones that are able to have outside assistance for the minutia are already doing better financially than those that do not have access to that assistance.
There's that too.
It might be worth talking to the National Labor Relations Board. Like that's really where all of this boils down to anyway. Excuse me, is the NLRB. But
I feel like some creators that are far more experienced than I have done that in the past. You can find hours long rants from the now past Neil Adams, what he tried to unionize comic book creators in the 70s. And the walls he kept hitting. And it was only like a couple years before his passing. He said, like, if we were able to use unionize in the 70s, this is what a writer would make per page. This is what an artist would make per page. He's like, and yeah, the publisher wouldn't have as much money, but they'd still be around. There'd be better practices, all around. I think it was local artist Ben Dewey a couple years ago. He was at a convention and he drew this wagon that had just dozens and dozens of films thrown in the back of the wagon, like MCU, fledgling DCU, every movie. And instead of two donkeys, it was one writer and one artist, like pulling this ever more weighted down cart. And it was like, we're going to break eventually,
Yeah.
Or just start paying the creators for stuff that's happening. Like, I am loving the new She-Hulk show.
Yeah.
There's a few writers and creators at Marvel who should be getting paid for that. Same with Hawkeye. Same with Miss Marvel. I don't know too much on the DC side, mainly because there's not a whole lot right now. I know creators that do still get bank. Like, every time Bane shows up, Chuck Dixon can buy a car. He brokered a really good deal. Go ahead.
The whole Berlantiverse. This is just like an entire week's worth of DC programming.
Yeah, and most of those stories came from writers.
Yep.
Or from DC writers, not people in the Berlanti writers room. They put a spin on it, but yeah, we got all that stuff. Crisis on Infinite Earths, all that. That came from comics first.
Yep.
And I think it's only going to get worse because there are companies out there right now who are actively trying to buy up IP for the sole purpose of turning it into more film and television franchises. Like, they don't really care about what the product is. If you're making comics, they want to buy it so they can turn it into something else.
Yes. There's a lot of companies and investment capitalists buying publishing houses so they can IP farm, not knowing how that works. It's step one, acquire small indie publisher. Step two, don't know how publishing works. Fire almost everyone. Step three, profit.
Yep.
So, yeah. I hope it gets better. We'll see. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, I went on a rant about what happens within the entertainment industry. And I feel like it's only going to get worse because all these companies are consolidating.
Yep.
Oh my God, I know.
How does that impact what you do?
Honestly, we don't know how it's going to impact things yet. The biggest thing that's impacting us right now is all of the streaming companies, because it's a different contract than like working on a movie or working on a network show. That was one of the big things about our strike vote last year was the new media isn't new line. They're still treating it as this like experimental medium when like absolutely everything is streaming. But now all of these different companies are starting to merge together.
Right.
So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know how. There's only so much they can keep getting out of people before we're just gonna be like, we're done. We just can't take this anymore.
I mean, to have every streaming service out there right now that has all of this new content coming, it's more than a cable subscription used to be. Like, easily, hands down.
Easily.
Way more than a cable subscription used to be.
And I'm still not watching it all. Like, I don't think anybody can. I'm definitely.
Yes, there's only so many hours in a day.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Right? Yeah, and that doesn't.
Not everything is going to speak to everybody. Like,
and that doesn't even count services that are like internet only streaming services, like the folks over like Dimension 20. If you enjoy watching role playing stuff, they have their own shows and stuff. They're basically their own little tiny streaming service, and I find myself giving them like 3 hours a day in the background. I'm like, oh crap, like none of this is going to happen.
Yep.
You can do what Bex does: sign up for the free trials and then cancel, and then wait for the trial to reset.
Yep.
I mean, there is something to that.
It's true.
We definitely do that in my house.
I would probably do it, except for we have to be caught up on this stuff in order to be able to talk about it.
There is
there is that. So Claire, is there like a genre you've always wanted to work on you haven't had a chance to yet?
Westerns. I want to do a Western, but I don't want to do a normal Western.
How do you feel about werewolves?
Listen, I already have an idea for that.
Me too.
Maybe we should talk. Like, maybe not here, but
Sure,
like,
yeah,
we
no.
should talk. No, like, seriously. Let me get my brain together so I can actually form a coherent sentence. After the Birch, the first season of the Birch, my partner and I went out into Eastern Oregon just to kind of get out of town for a little bit, and we went and explored around. And we went to Condon and Shaniko out there, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have an idea for a trip." It's wild, but yeah. Anyway, so yes, I want to do a Western, and that was the trip that like inspired all of that.
You didn't go to the methy ghost town that Denise and I went to?
I guess not. Which one's that?
Do you remember what that place was called?
It's allegedly an Oregon
ghost town.
It's allegedly an Oregon ghost town, but it's not. There are people there.
I think there's people in Shaniko,
and by people
too,
he means meth cookers.
Right.
Yes, meth cookers. It might have been Shaniko.
I mean, they're kind of like tangible ghosts.
Shaniko, that's right.
You're not wrong, Cable.
I'm from Eastern Oregon. I know these things.
That's true. They're the people of your past.
Yep.
I can't find it now, Denise. I don't remember which one it is. I know it's not Antelope.
I don't think it was Shaniko. I think they've got a little bit of like a tourist draw.
Yes, that's Shaniko. It's in Wasco County.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one we went to.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of set up for an old west town too, like ready to go.
Right. Condon's really cool too. Condon's actually more like an active town. Like they've actually got people and businesses and stuff there, and like hotels and everything. But all of the buildings, like the facades, are like an old west town. So we've got great locations. Hey, anybody that's listening that wants to come film in Oregon, we have some great locations. That's true. Saying.
I know Antelope is there.
More than trees.
Right. That was where the Rajneesh and all them were setting up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yep. That's Antelope. Yeah. I don't know how much of that compound is still out there.
I don't know. I want to go out there because I do have a really weird fascination with cults, especially lately.
Oh, yes. Care to say why?
Okay, listen, I'm not going to, I can't because it pertains to the last movie I was working on. Let's just say I've been deep diving the Scientologists.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh,
you're gonna get on a boat and join L. Ron Hubbard's gold navy and try
that would be the C word, and no, I will not be.
Wait, what's the C word?
That's the name of his navy.
Sea organization. That's the
Sea Org. I thought you said C word. I was like, I don't remember it being the C word.
I would just say that out loud.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah. Oh, I thought initially that you had said SEAWARD. You know, like homeward, sea word. You know, because they're gonna go to the ocean with it.
Right.
Org makes more sense.
Oh yeah. Leah Remini's Scientology show is fantastic. There's 3 seasons of it, and that's kind of where I started.
Okay.
I started with that, and I watched Going Clear, then I watched my Scientology movie, and then I found the subreddit, and all was lost.
Oh, the subreddits.
I know people that have gone to the Celebrity Center downtown to go to their pancake breakfast.
No, get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was even still here. Like
it is still there. I think it's downtown across from it's downtown.
I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it is. Like I remember when I went in. I just don't go downtown anymore.
Right.
Nobody does.
Nope, nobody does. A couple years ago, Denise and I went to the Lafayette Pioneer Cemetery. That's
cool.
It's in Yamhill County, where allegedly like a witch is buried because her son was like strung up, and she swore that like that town would burn down every few years, and it has burned down like 3 times since her son was killed. And she was like, I don't remember what they did to her, but that town by Lafayette Cemetery has burned to the ground 3 times.
You know what else is in Yamhill County?
What?
The Delphian School for the Scientologists.
The what?
I'm just bringing it full circle back to Scientology. The Delphian School, which is the big like Scientology boarding school, is out in Yamhill County too.
Oh, creepy.
That town does have a really solid carniceria and taqueria, though. So there is that.
Oh.
You know,
may have to check that out.
Oh, and a pretty solid distillery, if I recall.
Oh yeah, no, we had a good time on that trip. Really good time. I'm still trying to find the town that we all went to that was very methy. As in, like we were.
I've been trolling Google ever since you brought it up. I'm like, what is that town?
What is the town? It was the first one we fucking went to, also, because it was every like Atlas Obscura in Eastern Oregon, like this is the one you got to go to. So we drove right out to it. And
I think I know how to find it, but it's gonna take me like 5 minutes of solid
That's
focus.
Fine. Go look for it.
That's fine. We're gonna come back to this. Or you're just be like in the middle of something else, and you're just gonna yell out the name. It's
That's fine.
Great.
It would not be the first time, Claire. Not even a little bit.
I know. I've been here before.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's it. That's the show. That's all we do.
This is in fact my second rodeo.
Yeah. But no, we were made to feel very, very unwelcome in this town.
That's another reason I want to share the name, because or make sure we remember the name of this town, because if you're even a little bit melanated, don't go there.
No,
don't go there.
Not at all. Of which we were told a lot.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Why are people?
If you're of the spice using and leg washing dysphoria, don't go out to this ghost town.
Fuck.
You guys keep going. I'm almost there.
All right. Keep hanging on. Well, now I just want to go to ghost towns and check those places out.
You always want to go to
I know. I always do. I love them so much.
It's not just now. We need to make a haunted tour.
Yeah. You only just talk about it more in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Because
tis the season.
The one downtown is bullshit too. That Shanghai Tunnel one, it's not real, like at all.
It's for tourists.
I know, but it's the one that's always brought. Like Portland has enough fucked up things you could talk about that's spooky, without including the Shanghai tunnels or the supposed 13-year-old girl that was murdered on a cathedral bridge. Neither of those are real. That's a long ghost story from like the 60s that you can still hear her cries, and there's no record of it. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Weird.
There's plenty of other weird stuff. Like there's an entire community out in McMinnville. Is that off I-5 or Wilsonville?
Wilsonville's off I-5.
Yeah. McMinnville is on Highway 99.
Okay, this is Wilsonville.
Yeah, it's out west.
Yeah, there's an entire community out there in Wilsonville that was built on the same property as the Damish State Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like they leveled the hospital and built a living community out there. In fact, they started tearing it down right after MGM stopped filming Bandits, because that was the office for Bandits that I worked out of. Yeah, and I've toured that entire hospital. It's the hospital that inspired Cuckoo's Nest. There were scenes that were filmed there. It's fucking weird out there. And yeah.
I remember going to visit Damash Hospital when I was a teen, and I don't remember why. And it was like when I visited, it was still open.
Yes.
And still running, and then Reagan closed it. Thanks, Reagan.
Right. I think Bex just put it in the chat. Villebois. It's a living community. Yep. Yep, she just put it in for those who are curious.
Villebois, huh?
Villebois. Community Center in Wilsonville. Yeah.
Cool.
Clyde Lewis and I tried to do an investigation right as Villebois opened, because at the time, Oregon used to have a law saying you had to disclose if your place was built on something that might have an emotional charge. And the radio station was threatened with us to quit talking about it. They're like, if you keep bringing it up, we will sue Entercom.
Wow.
So we never got. Oh, yeah.
Telling the truth. Weird. That never happens.
Yeah. On Bandits, there was a security guard that was there all night, all the time. And every once in a while, an older person would just wander up to the front gates. And they're like, can I help you? And this person would be like, I wandered away. I have to come back in. I've been living here for 20 years. And they're like, oh, you don't live here anymore. They'd call like whatever, usually a cop, and they'd find out where they lived and go. But Damish was weird because we got to explore it. And it's like that scene when they first get to the colony and Aliens, where you're seeing, we were finding like half-eaten, like people just got up. Oh, the hospital's closed. Let's leave. Half filled out paperwork, like bits of food. They just, we're out. And a big underground tunnel that connected the hospital with all the living dorms at the other end of the hospital. Huge underground tunnel. Yeah. So Oregon's got some cool shit that I'd love to explore more of. But you could also just live there. You could just live there if you want. Now it's like a Borg collective of homes with its own pool. So there you go. This is all true.
Oh, Vivarium was really good.
What was that?
I'm just looking at. I can see the chat. Vivarium was a really good movie.
Oh, I don't know that one
with Jesse. What's his face?
Yes, Jesse
they're
Eisenberg.
They're in that development, that housing development.
Jesse, what's his face? I like that.
She got it. Yeah, that movie was. I had low expectations. I was like, oh, I don't know. But it was really good.
Very unpleasant and unsettling.
Very creepy.
Unpleasant. Yes. What was it about, though? Can you?
It's been a while since I watched it, but basically the premise is this young couple gets stuck in this like really like picture perfect Stepford Wivesy suburb, and then they can't get out of it. And I can't remember what the ultimate premise of it is, but they just like, it's like this has been happening to people for a while, and it's always just this one couple that's there. It's never more than them there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good.
I'll look for it.
And like everything is fake, and
It's true. So our buddy Norm has a question for you. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen behind the scenes on a production you've worked on that you feel comfortable talking about?
I'm gonna have to think on this one.
Woo!
What's the funniest thing I've seen? I mean, there's always funny things that happen on set. Well, okay, actually, not specifically behind the scenes, but I got pranked on the movie I was working on most recently by a friend of mine, and it was very cleverly set up. And to understand this, you need to know that IATSE's international president is Matthew Loeb, Loeb. So in this movie, there's a gag where somebody loses an ear, and that was my department because I was doing special effects for it. And one day I'm coming back from lunch, and there's this big manila envelope sitting outside my trailer that just says SFX makeup. Not my name, nothing else, just this manila envelope. And I take it inside and I open it up and I'm like, what the fuck? And there's this little box that's like tied together with a bow and everything. And I open it up, and it's actually somewhere in this room, but I'm not going to dig because all of my stuff is in totes. But I open it up, and it's this amazing severed ear with a note in it. Hang on. I'm sorry. I should have pulled the pictures up before I started telling the story. Anyway, well, okay. So long story short, my friend's wife was going to do makeup on this show. She ended up quitting. He stayed on the show, and she got him to sneak in this severed ear and note to me as a joke. He pulled it off perfectly, and here it is. Let's see what it. Hello, Claire. I've heard you've been doing an exceptional job in leading the effects makeup department on movie Redacted. With all the hiccups and hurdles that have been thrown your way, you've really managed to play things by ear and rise to the occasion. It doesn't go unnoticed. In solidarity, President Loeb, L-O-B-E. And I don't know if you can see.
Oh, man.
That's the envelope. And I sat there. I couldn't stop laughing for like half an hour. And I didn't know who it was for the longest time until I finally like put it together that it was Anne.
Nice.
Wow.
So that was pretty great.
What the hell is this thing I see about a crew shirt from the Scorpion King?
Oh my God. Okay. Did any of you guys watch Nope, the Jordan Peele that came out recently?
Yep.
So, okay. I was actually just watching it again tonight. Anyway, there's a Facebook group on Facebook. Wow. I'm doing great. There's a group on Facebook where it's supposed to be for crew members, for industry crew members that tell stories about working in the industry, but it's turned into this just like cesspool of people bitching about the stupidest things. And the current one is they're mad about... You did
say Facebook.
It's true.
I did say Facebook, and I did say film industry.
Oh, the stories.
So Hot Topic has a merch item from Nope, which if you've seen it, you know that the main character in the end is wearing this crew shirt from the Scorpion King. It's bright orange, and it says crew on the back. Anyway, they're selling that. And apparently nobody in this group has watched the goddamn movie. And they're legitimately saying things in there without a shred of irony, calling it stolen valor.
That's not even what stolen valor is.
Okay.
I know. I never said they were correct.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the whole thing that's happening right now. It's absolutely ridiculous and irritating. And I think I'm probably going to leave that group, which really sucks because they have some really good stories in there.
Ah, man. There's no way to just kind of mute them and take a break for a while and just wait for the nuggets.
It's not consistent enough. Like you'll see like really cool stories about like working on Beetlejuice or Death Becomes Her and stuff like that. And then every now and again, this stupid, insane bullshit pops up on my feed. And most of the time I can ignore it. And sometimes I have to say things.
I'm just trying to think where they got stolen valor from for that kind of thing. That doesn't make any sense.
They're thinking of people like buying military uniforms from the surplus store and pretending that they served or whatever. That's what they're calling it. That's what they're pretending stolen valor actually is. But like,
okay, that's a stretch.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying I can put I can put myself in their shoes and try to figure out what they're thinking, and I'm like 99% sure that's it. Anyway.
Wow. I think the only shirt like that I'd ever want is a acquaintance of mine, Siegfried. He's done lighting and sound for like 30 years now, and he has this tattered shirt. I don't think he's ever going to get rid of it. When it finally falls apart, he's probably going to mount it on something else. It just has like an Arial black font. It just says like, "You can't scare me. I worked for Jim Cameron." And he's like, "I'm never getting rid of this. I will take it to the grave." I'm like, yeah, it tracks.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
So what's up on the docket next? Are you kind of taking a little break, or you're doing some effects makeup for the season, or?
I actually haven't set foot anywhere near a haunted house in 6 years.
There aren't many left.
I briefly,
in the Northwest. Huh? There aren't many left in the Northwest. Here. Really?
There are so many here. Oaks Park has got one. There's one back at the Rose Quarter. There's one out in Clackamas, Gresham-ish. I don't know.
There are 5 that I know of. There's Scaregrounds, there's Millburns, there's Underhill, Fear PDX, and Fearlandia.
That sounds right.
Okay. All right.
And then there's also
County
one.
Too.
Oh, okay. Clark County's still Washington?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just a little bit up the freeway across the border.
And I thought that was where Scaregrounds used to be, and that they moved to Oaks Park.
Oh, maybe. That's entirely possible.
Because I got was talking about it with Dave at some point, and he talked about the fact that the fire marshal of Vancouver, Washington, does not like haunted houses at all.
That is true. That's true.
Wow.
Buzzkill.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a lot of fun.
They're risky. Oh, you found it.
I did.
Oh, which one is it? Okay.
First, I have to brag about how I found it because this process is a lifesaver for me all the time. First, I tried to check my calendar, but all I got was Lafayette on there.
Right.
So then I went to Google Photos, found the photos of the place, got the date from there, then went to Google Maps timeline, plugged in that date, and then donked around on the map until I found the right one, because we did go to Shiniko that day. And for a second there, I thought it was Shiniko, but it's not. It's a place just a little ways north of Shiniko called Kent, which the internet claims is an abandoned ghost town. But it, like Cable was saying, like, well, meth cooks are a kind of a ghost.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess in that sense, it has been abandoned by regular human beings and is now occupied by creepy white meth cooks.
Yeah. With torn down Winnebagos that were all connected by tarp hallways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got followed by a creepy white dude. And was it like a Suburban? It was a big Suburban or like a big double cab truck.
Yeah, it was a type of pickup truck, a huge pickup truck.
Yeah, and he was very much like, "What are you guys doing here?"
These are all very much the reasons why I never really want to watch things like Breaking Bad. It's like, nope, don't need to watch.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Just it's like, oh, but it's so well acted. Yeah, no, I believe that. I've seen Bryan Cranston act. He's great.
No, I would say that Breaking Bad puts a really positive light on meth cooks. Particularly in the intelligence levels. Because he used to be like a legit scientist, and then he ended up being a high school teacher, and then he ends up being a meth cook.
Sure. Television is fiction.
Yeah, I don't think that the average meth cook has that type of character arc.
Generally not.
No, they generally don't make it that far.
No.
And that's a show that could only happen in America. As anywhere else, he gets that report of cancer. The doctor's like, so now let's try to fix you.
Yep.
Yes.
Like Breaking Bad couldn't be made in Canada.
Wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now I'm just looking up Kent, Oregon. Even when it was new, at its biggest, there was nothing fucking there. It was named Kent because, according to the postmaster, the name was short and easy to write.
I mean, yes.
Not wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've never been happier to be on a road trip with either Katrina or Jimmy Long Guns. We just put them out in front. They were our white wall, and we just hid behind them. And we got along pretty well.
Smart.
Yeah.
But we did leave pretty soon after that, guy.
We left. Yeah, we were made to know that we
just
were
from being there.
Yeah, we were not welcome there. And that's when we think we went to Shiniko or whatever, which is pretty fun. Then we had elk burgers on the way home.
Nice.
Yeah, we went to the Eagle Crossing restaurant.
That's right.
Warm Springs, Oregon.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Do go there. That place is great.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think here. Get close to wrapping it up.
I'm like.
Oh, you asked what I was going to be doing next, and we got off on the tangent of.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm about to jump into another feature starting at the end of the month, and then I'm actually going to be in cabaret at Stumptown Stages starting in December.
Oh, nice.
I'm dabbling back into theater again for a little bit.
Very cool.
Yay.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Cable?
Oh, I was also looking at Kent and looking at the photos of it. It's like, yeah, this was just our backyard. Like this was just where the kind of stuff that I would see where I lived.
Wow.
I'm very sorry.
It's Eastern Oregon. That's all that's out there. Well,
yeah,
now there's lots of strip malls and Walmarts, but
Yeah.
In the 70s, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
In the late 1900s.
That's right.
Oh man.
Before the turn of the century.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry I started this. I'll just go.
There's a rock band in Kent. Countrified band. High quality country rock entertainment for your big gigs. 15 years on tour. I am not emailing the person who fronts a countrified band.
No, don't.
No?
That's
the name of the band? I thought they were describing themselves.
No, that's the name of the band. So the three businesses in Kent are Countrified Band, Kent Baptist Church, which has Bible study for men and women, and then
separately?
3 different, 6 a.m. for men, 9:30 a.m. for women. By the way, the town only has an estimated population of 23.
Wow.
Sunday morning prayers at 10, Sunday school 10:30, worship at 11:30. And then Mobley Fencing LLC, Ron Mobley. Wait a minute, Ron Mobley also runs the Countrified Band.
Hey, this is a racket.
Yeah, it is. Rob Mobley, you son of a bitch.
We're on to you.
Yeah. You know who doesn't like that is Pastor Richard Keeney at the Kent Baptist Church. He's on to you, sir. He's like the preacher from Footloose.
This is the script we need to write.
Yeah.
It's the Countrified Band against the Baptist Church in a ghost town.
These Baptists.
With lots of meth.
Oh, yeah. Meth for days.
Also, there is a 7% chance that one of those two guys was the one who ran us out of town.
I mean, that's possible.
It's true.
You think so?
Well, if there's only 26 people.
23.
23. Oh, okay. Hold on. That changes the math.
And I think there's rattlesnakes. They could be snake handler Baptists too.
Oh, God. 8%. 8% chance.
It's entirely possible.
Okay, this church can't be in Kent. This church is way too new looking. There's just no way it's still there.
Well, I mean,
maybe
they might have rebuilt it at some point.
What was that?
They could have rebuilt it. Like, as an establishment, it may have been there a long time, but the building itself could be a replacement.
Hey, Google Timeline says we have actually been to that church in 2009.
2009?
Or 2019.
I mean, that's the year that we were there. That's
I don't remember stopping at the Baptist church. I would have remembered.
Oh, it's probably just assuming because it's the only active place in that area.
Yeah.
Google doesn't like it. Google Maps doesn't like it when you go somewhere where there's nothing there.
That's true. I do remember our stop at Dinty's Market in Delhi on the river. That place was magical. I think Jimmy almost bought like a black powder gun there along with his chicken strips.
And I think Katrina bought a knife.
Katrina did buy a knife. I already had Wolf motorcycle knife. I didn't need another knife. But I bought Cowboy Ghost Stories from that place.
I think I bought a corn dog.
I mean, you got to get a corn dog at these places. That's what they're for. So this is as spooky as we can get in Oregon in October. Like, I don't know where else to go. I mean, there's a hotel way out in Eastern Oregon by where Cable lived.
There's a what?
There's a big hotel out near where you live. It's considered one of the most haunted places in Oregon.
Is that the one in Baker City?
Yeah.
Yes.
I stayed at that hotel.
Is it fucked up?
I stayed at that hotel. So we had heard about it being like super haunted and stuff. I was actually going out, this is back when I was still in college and I was doing music on a regular basis, and we were doing like this tour type thing. And I'm sorry to report that the most haunting that happened there was at the hands of myself and a couple of other people fucking with our tour mates.
Damn it.
But that was just my experience. Like, the ghost could have seen us and been like, you know what, I'm gonna let you have this one.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, well, Baker is about an hour away from Ontario.
Right.
Well, I was like, none of the places we went to on that ghost town tour ended up feeling haunted in the least. So I'm disappointed, Oregon.
I am too. I feel like the coasty places have a bit more because of all the shipwrecks and stuff. I don't know, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Plus,
we
Go ahead.
still have that lead that we will follow up on next week and see what we can find out.
Yes. There's also Malheur Butte, where apparently there's little demons and little witches that will come after you down off the butte that I've always wanted to check out. And you can kind of go camping there.
Aaron.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Malheur Butte is in Ontario.
I know. I was like, and maybe Cable knows somebody there.
I left. There's nothing there now.
Except the little demons.
No, that's what I'm saying. I left Ontario.
So now there are no more demons.
There are no little demons there anymore.
I got it, Cable. I got it.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody did.
It says dark magic at Malheur Butte in Ontario, Oregon. Look, if we don't do it, fucking Zach Bagans is going to show up.
Ah, shit.
Fuck
that has been one of those long-time rumors of Ontario, Oregon, that there are witches in the hills and black magic Sabbaths and
witches. P. 5 spits
Maybe
for an
we should
enemy.
go and make it true.
Yeah, let's do it. We can also.
So
play
here's
D&D,
the thing, I have heard these stories from the 70s. Like this has always been one of those true. I don't believe any of it to be true. Though, and here's why, because I was part of those rumors at one point and I had nothing to do with it. Like, it was just like, yeah, Cable's part of that thing. It's like, who the fuck started that rumor?
Witches.
Like,
I mean, I had that rumor growing up in Susanville too. They're like, I just saw Aaron. There used to be there was a helipad like down Gold Run Road heading to Susanville from where I grew up. And some shit apples really did like paint a giant bright red pentagram, which we all then just like lit candles and fucking drank bush beer.
As you do.
Sure. Hell yeah. It was great. But we had other monsters. So we had to deal with that.
When I was in elementary school, there was a gnarly tree that we all were led to understand was the, I don't know, like the death tree, like the resting place of Bloody Mary for some reason.
Oh,
Bloody Mary doesn't live in Arizona.
No, Bloody Mary's in Scotland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cabrini Green, but that's Candyman.
That is Candyman.
Yeah. And I thought that you were going to say it was a hanging tree. I feel like every old, especially in the West town, has the hanging tree.
Mm-hmm.
Susanville had one that really was in the front yard of Susanville's first judge. It's not a good town. Yeah.
I like that.
It's a prison town.
Yep.
That explains
Ontario is now too. It's a
Is it really?
Town. Yeah, Snake River Correctional Facility.
I could get us around there then.
Well, now that they're gonna release everyone who's on, locked up on bullshit marijuana charges.
That's only at a federal level. They're leaving it to the states. Otherwise,
I think one of the Susanville prisons, the governor's closing it because it's a level 1 through 3 incarceration. So it's usually just drug use and stuff like that. So that's the one my sister works at, but they're gonna probably transfer to the level 4 lifers for murder that are out there. Because Susanville has a lot of prisons.
I'm glad your family has options.
Sure. She has much better options outside of that town, but that's a whole nother story.
Let's not get into that right now.
No, let's not get into that right now.
That's a different show.
Yes.
We could also go on a rant about prison abolition, but that's also a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's
we're running out of time for any.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. We got to also
societal change today.
Right.
So, Significant Other is on Paramount Plus right now. Go watch it.
Yep. Please. And once you guys watch it, maybe I'll come back and actually talk about it.
Yeah,
but I don't want to
spoil it. That'd be cool.
But it's also shot here in the Northwest.
Yep.
You're like
mostly Oregon crew.
Yep. I think Adam Sager was the visual effects artist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the visual effects supervisor.
And he's someone that I met through Fright Town.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Like
I did not.
He used to bring his he brought his kids through there. That's where I met him because he started following me on Instagram from that.
Nice.
And then we were following him on there, and then he had like there were photos of his kids on your Instagram, and I'm like, wait a minute. And you're like, yeah, he's great. And we know each other. It's cool. I'm like, oh, Portland just got smaller again.
Oh.
I think
that's kind of cool.
I think the photo that you replied to was actually from when we were shooting Significant Other, and it was a couple of our PAs that both dressed up as different versions of Coraline.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw that picture too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to work on Halloween, so everybody dressed up, and a couple of the PAs were Coraline. Our second AD was Sam from Trick or Treat, but my absolute favorite was our grouchy, grumpy bear of a line producer dressed up as the Cat in the Hat, and his production coordinator and production manager as Thing 1 and Thing 2.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
That's adorable.
And they would never see the light of day.
That's amazing.
And then hair and makeup, we all did Sesame Street onesies.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's reasonable.
It was
very
great.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely have to have you back then. Nice.
Yeah, I'm down. You know, I'm always down.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe in the future we'll talk about a potential werewolf story.
Yes, I'd actually really like that.
That'd be cool.
I think you should talk about that off camera. And
I agree.
Get some things rolling.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We're due for like an actual real hangout too. It's been
that's true. It's been a while. I don't even know where. I mean, I know you're kind of local, but I remember there was a time during like traffic and stuff. You would just come by my place and like we'd color in the side yard. You're like, I can't go home yet, and I was like, you can come color. And
I was still living in Vancouver at that time because that traffic going north was always just brutal. I'm on the opposite side now. Actually, I'm kind of out southwest in between Sherwood, Newburgh, Hillsborough. I'm like way the fuck out there.
Man, that's a little trickier. We'll figure something out.
I have a car.
Yeah, it's true. I do. We'll figure something out.
Yeah,
we should all do it. We can all talk about spooky shit.
And
this
color.
Is true.
And we could also color.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my tarot card coloring book, Bean, if you want to play with it.
Ooh.
It's pretty cool.
I like it.
I used to have my erotic D&D coloring book, but I don't know where it went. It's too bad.
You're what?
So it was a Kickstarter from a few years ago. This woman put together sexy dungeon coloring book.
Okay.
And it was pretty full. Like I had like a real sexy dwarf that I colored. Bean remembers it now.
I do, yeah. In my head it was still tarot, but you definitely said D&D, right? You said D&D.
One of my favorites was the gelatinous cube with like a bikini top and bottom inside with it like glistening.
Are you gonna make me Google sexy gelatinous cube?
I can do that. I also got to color a sexy mind flare.
Okay.
Don't Google that one. Unless you're a tentacle fan. Sexy gelatinous.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna Google it, but you actually said the magic thing to make me not Google it.
Tentacles?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we wrap it up on? Should we wrap up the show on tentacles?
On sexy. Well, that seems fair.
Sexy gelatinous cube.
I could go for a sexy lich though. I'd be down for that.
What kind of lich?
Yeah.
There's more than one kind?
Yeah, like an Uzi Vecna or like a Demi Lich or a Cable.
Oh, God.
I thought, Cable, you were more of an ancient dead. You were more like a mummy. By the way, mummies aren't always wrapped up.
I am. I fall under the category of undead, but is every time I look at this, it's like, well, I'm not zombie, so like lich seems to be more appropriate.
Okay.
Sorry, more in the chat. Go watch the new Hellraiser. It's so good, and my friend Ken did the makeup for it, and it's so pretty.
Oh, I heard it's amazing.
Yep.
It's so good.
It's gorgeous. That is also on my list.
Gorgeous. Yes. And I will nerd out about that too.
Nice.
Cool. Well, clearly we will watch these shows and then have you back on.
Cool. Sounds fantastic.
I'm excited.
Norm says Uzi Vecna's the name of my all woodwind Ozzy Osbourne cover band. Yep. He is still the master of that shit, man.
That sounds like that's where we end.
That's where we end. With that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Bean Rita.
And I'm Cable Hashitami.
And Claire has been our guest. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. It was fun.
Next week, Cable, is that Alex? Or am I still
Next week
ahead?
is Alex Spieth to talk about Stag.
Is she going to be live with us, or
that I'm still figuring out? And then the week after that, we will be rejoined by Taylor Stark from Witch Hunt Theater. Talk about what she put us through.
I'm excited for that, and maybe to hear about the potential Christmas thing they've got planned.
Ooh,
indeed.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody, and we will talk to everybody next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, friends.
Bye.